I was tagged in this content creator's tweet, and this is our lesson for today. This is how we're starting it out. This is at Chew Gail X. She says men have two things over women, and that's why they'll always be ahead. And it's not their physical strength or their non-existent logic. It's audacity and self-preservation. If you don't learn that as a woman, you're fair game to every man that you come across. I have a whole Audacity series that shows that these men just simply do not self-reflect. If you have just a modicum of their audacity or nerve, we could go so much further. But at Chugil X is not done. Now, the lesson's not done. She says, also, women, stop effing rationalizing, explaining, or justifying your choices. Acknowledge that you made them because at the time it made sense to you and move on. Mistakes, fix them. Regrets, take a cup of whiskey neat and be done with it. Just get up and move on. Some people like to throw your mistakes in your face. That's the reason why you have got to turn down the need to get validated by outside sources. Everybody makes mistakes. Sometimes you go right when you should have gone left. Sometimes you choose this job when you should have chose that job. It happens. You fix it and you move on. Oh, she's not done. She says, men will choose themselves every day. Choose yourself too. He wants full custody. Hand that child over to him and buy an effing plane ticket. He doesn't want the pregnancy. Know that it's your child to have. He is now dead. Talking about the man. If he wants the child and you don't, fetus deletus. At the end of the day, it's your body, your time, and your effing energy. Pick you, choose you, decide for you. Do what it is that works for you. Be audacious, practice self-preservation, and F shame for the love of God. Now, we do need to talk about this part because we have seen what happens when a woman is pushed into having a baby because he just really, really wants a baby. He's going to be all in, and she still ends up doing everything. She's the one that is solely responsible for that child, and he is nowhere to be found. Please know and understand that. Please know and understand that this is how it happens a lot of the time. Do not be talked into having a child. Have a child because you want a child, not because you were pushed into having a baby. So Muiz, I'm not sure if I pronounced his name correctly, says, studying men so you can write articles about them on the same space where men exist is most definitely existent logic. Some of you will never be smart enough, not because of gender, but because you're not satisfied with who you are. Stop male obsessions. It's disgusting. Yes, we are studying men, and in order to reach a bigger audience, we just have to put out this information. Some of us just take your words, copy them and send them out into our spaces because you keep talking and telling us everything that's in your brain. So yes, we do use men. We study men to tell women about men from your own words. Now, don't curse kids. He made it a black thing. He says black men have not been ahead of black women for decades. So when y'all say like this, what men are y'all really talking about? Especially when it comes to relationships, because proximity outweighs y'all gossip. The thing is, she's not talking about black men. She's talking about men in general. Black men are not the only ones that have audacity and self-preservation. That's a male trait. So it's not about black. It's not about black, white, Latino. It's about men in general. Venus, the uppity African, says, self-preservation I have, but audacity is what I lack. But that self-preservation part is enough to show me that men are not okay when you put you first. They are not. They are not. When you take your energy and pour it into yourself, your hobbies, your plants, your pets, your friends, your schooling, they get really uncomfortable. And I'm okay with that. Ladies, pull your energy back from spaces and people that is not reciprocated and watch them fail and flail. Now, we do have a pick-me alert. This is Zental Zimbini. She says, You know you have a problem as society when women start learning masculine traits from men. Women only need wisdom and accountability. Wisdom will keep you away from ill intentioned men and bad decisions. Accountability will enable you to learn from your mistakes should you make them. But that's not really true. Nothing's going to keep you away from ill intentioned men because you will only see them for what they are after a while. You don't know their intent. You can't see their intent. You don't know if they're masking, if they're lying, if they're mirroring, if they're using any kind of manipulation tactics. So, and she is a pick me because she's in the comments basically talking about, calling women and feminists and all this names and all that kind of stuff. So this is totally a pick me, but we all should have accountability. We should all have some wisdom, but wisdom isn't enough to navigate around a liar. When they lack integrity, you can't really pick and choose and use discernment because they are lying. Ibukan Melanin said, share your worst first date experience. And I got some interesting tweet threads. All right, Dr. R says, it was actually my first date. Met with this Nigerian guy for dinner, and we got to chatting, and the topic of family and traditions came up. That's how I made the comment that men should know how to cook. He asked me to explain why if they will marry. Naive me started to explain that cooking is a fundamental life skill that everyone should have. Maybe it was because I was so adamant and he realized, oh, Mo, I'm not the one. I don't know why that vexed him because the next question was, how many brothers do you have? 2. And then he says, it's as if they did not beat you enough when you were younger. Don't worry, I'll handle that. Then he proceeds to wink at me. I've never screamed check please so loud in my life. So this is a Nigerian man. Please know and understand that the dust is global. Oyen the Muse says, Jesus Christ, I'm glad y'all had that convo right then and there. Dr. R says, looking back, I don't even know what possessed me to go on the date. Oyen says, oh, babe, we live and we learn. Now you know better. Bicken Nugget says, he was smoking from his vape at the table inside the restaurant. He also said ketamine was his drug of choice and did a little shoulder shimmy. I blocked him in the bathroom, ordered my Uber home, let him pay the bill, and left. Good for you. Good job. The madam says, he asked me about my religion at some point during the date. I tell him I'm Catholic. Him, I hope not one of those who pray the rosary because I'll throw those things out if we date. And then she says, how do you start dictating how I, a grown person, should choose to pray? And then she did the little trash emoji. So this person says, but how can someone tell you they are Catholic and that's your first reaction? He hated you. I'm glad the signs showed themselves immediately. And then the madam says, like, yo, it's like meeting a Muslim and telling them they must start eating pork if they date you. And this person says, we live among mad people. And JH says, a mad man. And then the madam says, crazy and insane. See, y'all know I am not religious at all, but other people are. So leave people alone. Let them practice how they're going to practice. If not, find the person that matches your belief system. It's really kind of simple. And then we got Carol. She says his girlfriend showed up pregnant and they started fighting. They even gave me their phones to hold so they won't break it. And then Millionaire says, you're joking, right? She says, I wish I was. 2022 was crazy. After that, I stopped dating. And then Millionaire says, did you hold the phone? She was like, yes, I was scared that my own slap was on the way. And I'm going to end it with Zizi's first date. She says, after the date, I offered to drive him home and he asked me if he could drive. And I said, no. He says, why not? I know how to drive. She says, I'm sure you do, but I'm just not comfortable with that. And then he says, why won't you let me drive? She says, because it's my car. And then he says, it's not even your car. It's owned by the bank. And she says, for everyone asking, the date actually went well. Otherwise, I wouldn't have offered to take him home. No, I didn't pay for the food. Unfortunately, I still took him home, but no, I never saw him again. And then she says, and no, he wasn't a Josa agent. I don't know. I'm sorry, a Zoja gent. I don't know what that is, but he's not that. Y'all, we have got to get the audacity of a man that is asking to drive a woman's car and then for him to say, it's not your car, it's the bank. get that level of audacity, we will go much further. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about these tweet threads. I have more tweet threads coming in the next post. So this feminist named Lady Labrille says, I just realized I've never heard a woman giving a sermon before. Now I know why. They start talking about women's rights instead of hellfire for the happy demographic. I say happy instead of the other word for censorship's sake. Anyways, you guys have got to see this sermon.
The number of times some preachers mention sexual orientation and preach zero sermons about domestic violence, zero sermons about sexual assault, zero sermons about molestation, zero sermons about racism. Oh, they got a lot of courage to make jokes about brothers who they consider feminine, but they have no courage to stand up for women who are being violated and children who are being abused. Don't tell me how big your God is if you won't stand up against abuse.
I haven't been in the church in a long time. And if women were able to speak about the things that impact women and girls, then maybe I could have stuck around for a bit longer. But it's not about that. It's always been about subjugating and oppressing women and using women to edify the males that are in the church. Roxy says, she said, tell me, are you a Christian, child? And she says, and I said, ma'am, I am tonight. Exactly. I'm something. Like I said, I'm saying hallelujah, amen. Kathy says, I don't have a religious bone in my body, and she gave me chills. Tree said, hashtag God is a woman.
And to add insult to injury, on this very Sunday all over America, there are pastors in holy places calling for their members to support an unrepentant rapist to make him the head of this nation.
Mimosa God says, I'm not religious at all, but I want to hear more of what she has to say. Who is this woman? No one answers. I don't know who this is. At the bottom, Rhea says, if this woman was my pastor growing up, I probably would still believe in God. Maybe. If God can't protect the women and children of the church, is he really all that powerful? And that takes me to this tweet from the Financial Times saying federal prosecutors in Argentina have accused senior leaders in Opus Dei of overseeing the exploitation and trafficking of women in the first criminal proceedings to stem from public allegations against the Catholic group. Now, this article from the Financial Times is behind a paywall, but the Associated Press is talking about it as well. Argentine prosecutors have concluded that there are grounds for launching a criminal investigation into the highest authorities of Opus Dei in South America between 1983 and 2015 for the crimes of human trafficking and labor exploitation against at least 44 women recruited by the religious order to perform domestic tasks in their homes. According to the documents seen by the Associated Press, prosecutors sought a federal judge to summon those who served during that period as vicar or regional counselor of Opus Dei Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Bolivia to testify. They also seek to interrogate the regional secretary in charge of the order's female section, Gabriel Dando, who held the position until 2015. Opus Dei, Work of God in Latin, was founded by the Spanish priest Jose Maria Escriva in 1928 and has 90,000 members in 70 countries. The lay group, which was greatly favored by St. John Paul II, who canonized Escriva in 2002, has a unique status in the church and reports directly to the Pope. Most members are lay men and women with secular jobs and families who sought to sanctify ordinary life. So like I said in that previous set of tweets, why isn't God taking care of these women and children that are being exploited within the church? This is a long time, talking about from the 90s through 2017. That's a long time to be exploiting women for domestic use, and I'm sure probably other things. And then I'm going to end it with this tweet thread. She says, but it made you stronger. She says, I was a child. I didn't need to be stronger. I needed to be safe. And Ann Kent says, strength isn't the prize of survival. Every child deserves safety, love, and protection, not lessons in resilience they never asked for. This person says, strength shouldn't come from survival alone. As a child, safety and care are what you truly deserved. Robinson says, our parents really thought they were raising Spartans instead of kids who just wanted a bedtime story. Fidan says, children need safety and support, not the burden of needing to be strong. Healing comes from understanding that need for safety. And with that, I'm going to end it there. Please let me know what you think of all of these tweet threads all put together. I know that I have a tendency to segue, but all of it's connected. Women and children deserve safety, deserve opportunities, deserve all of that simply because we're here. And we don't need to be lorded over by people who say that they're in charge. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment,